Hello and welcome to Carmen Miller's Talk of the Town Carolinas. I'm your host, Patti Mercer, along with my guest,
Wink Ray,
of the Fort Mill Economic Council. Let's check it out. So, along with the Fort Mill Economic Council, which started as Move Fort Mill Forward.
That's correct.
And what year was that?
Okay, well, Move Fort Mill Forward was actually an extension of the old Downtown Merchant Association, and then it evolved into Move Fort Mill Forward, which was really an economic development entity. And then about 7 years ago, we transitioned Move Fort Mill Forward to the Fort Mill Economic Council.
We've seen so much change just on Main Street. I mean, you and I both are natives of Fort Mill,
Yes.
which I understand out of 5 people, only 1 out of 5 is actually a native of Fort Mill. But we've seen the black and white movies of when Main Street Fort Mill was just thriving. You didn't have to go anywhere else to get your groceries, get your shoes shined, get your clothes, get everything that you possibly could think of, even an ice cream and,
Well, I actually remember that firsthand. At one point, my family lived right at the top of Main Street in the Meacham House. I remember coming down on Main Street as a kid. I mean, you had B.C. Moore, you had Ivy's, that was Belt's major competitor.
And Ackerman's.
You had Ackerman's, you had Rogers,
Yes.
it was a thriving Martin's Drug. I mean, it was a thriving downtown area, and then unfortunately it kind of died on the vine.
Maybe at the same time that everybody began to shop the malls.
Yes.
That urban sprawl.
That's correct.
And of course, when you look at the changing in our textile industry as well, Fort Mill was at a place of really looking at options of how can we continue to thrive as a community.
That's right. I mean, we literally lost thousands of jobs that were centered, right within close proximity of our downtown area. But fortunately, everything is cyclical.
Yes, it
is. And fortunately, I think that we're at a juncture right now where we have unprecedented redevelopment and growth in Fort Mill, certainly unprecedented growth. And I think right now, when you look behind us at all the various redevelopment that is occurring on Main Street, in my lifetime, it certainly is unprecedented.
And what does it feel like to you to see finally the embers catching fire and activity, excitement, creativity, and a new branding of Fort Mill is really on the horizon?
Well, I mean, the first I can say is that I'm very proud. I'm very proud and enthused about what is occurring right now in downtown Fort Mill. I'm very proud of the business owners and operators that have made a commitment to invest their hard-earned dollars in downtown Fort Mill. And we, as the Fort Mill Economic Council, we want to make sure that we create an environment, that induces and provides the necessary tools for those people that have made a commitment to be able to be successful.
Tell me about what is going on right now in the 200 block of Main
Well,
Street.
I think that's probably that, along with the redevelopment and the repurposing of the EW Process Building, are two of one of the more substantial redevelopment projects that we've seen in downtown Fort Mill in decades. Of course, the EW Process Building, EW Process will remain there, and then we're going to have Southern Sugar Cafe that will be on the bottom level. I'm real excited for that to open. And then we have an attorney that will be going on the second level. And then there's still a little bit of available space. But then we have the 200 block of Main Street, which was the old knife shop, the photography store, and Dave's Comics.
Wow.
And so those 3 buildings are now going to be the home of Amor Artis Brewery.
Oh, craft beer.
Craft beer. And then the Improper Pig.
And that will be barbecue?
And that will be barbecue. And both of those companies is the Tolson brothers, and they're originally from Fort Mill. One was involved with Wicked Weed Brewery out of Asheville. They'll be operating Amor Artis Brewery. And then Mr. Bingham, who operates the Flying Biscuits and the Pizza Pill out of Charlotte, he'll be opening up the Proper Pig.
So we know it's going to be good.
It's going to be fantastic.
Improper Pig.
The Improper Pig.
On the very proper streets of Fort Mill. And it's so cool to see that, because really Main Street Fort Mill has become a destination location.
It really has.
I mean, when we think about the town of Fort Mill, the footprint of Fort Mill is going to double in the next 5 years. On the other side of that, they don't call them growing pains for nothing.
That's correct.
And what information would you share in terms of why can't we just say no vacancy? We're good, we're happy. You go find someone else to, to fill our streets with more cars. We don't want any more cars. We're good. That's kind of unrealistic, you think?
I think it's a little bit unrealistic. And one of the things that is really driving the growth that we're seeing in York County is the city of Charlotte. The Urban Institute indicated that the city of Charlotte would again be the fastest growing city over the next 20 years, as it was the fastest growing city the past 20 years. And that is, we're getting the spillover effect from that. The other thing is that when Springs annexed the 5,000 acres into the town of Fort Mill, 2,500 of that was developable property. There was development agreements that were negotiated between the town of Fort Mill and Clear Springs and the other Springs-related entities. And I guess last month, Clear Springs and the Close family companies and entities, they went back before the town council and asked to renegotiate that development agreement from where it was capped at 1.5 million square feet to 6 million square feet of commercial space. Now, to put that in perspective, Ballantyne in its entirety is a little bit less than 5 million square feet.
Wow.
Okay, and then in addition to that, we've got the redevelopment of the old Knight Stadium site, or the Jennings property.
Which is really just one exit?
Yes. The properties almost abut one another.
Gold Hill Road and Springfield Parkway.
That's correct.
Which is already pretty busy.
Correct. And they have partnered with Lincoln Harris, and they have partnered with Cato, and they are expecting 4.5 million square feet of additional commercial space. And in the article that was in last month's Charlotte Business Journal, they're projecting that there will be 23,000 people over the next 20 to 25 years that will be working just in that employment hub. And then let's take in mind that we already have Lincoln, LPL Financial, and the Lash Group, okay, that will have 6,000 people that will be working there. So you combine that with the 23,000, we're looking at 30,000 people, and now the additional 5 million square feet that Clear Springs will be developing in the balance of Kingsley.
Right.
So you can kind of extrapolate that there could be in excess of 45 to 50,000 people that potentially could be working and living just between 160 and Gold Hill Road.
Hearing all of that makes our main street look like such a haven of rest as it relates to the beauty of the history here. And we appreciate you so much, Wink Ray, with all that you do, and it's very clear that you have a true love for Fort Mill, as I do too. Well, that's it for this edition of Carmen Miller's Talk of the Town Carolinas. If you'd like to see more beautiful homes in our area, simply go to homesfortmill.com. But when it comes to checking out a beautiful Main Street, Fort Mill is the place to start. I'm Patti Mercer.
And I'm Wink Ray.
Until next time, bye-bye.